I'd rather go to Italy on holiday. If somebody asked me, would you do this or that? So my choice is very, very clearly stated. That's how I do this. Remember, that's about the future. That's about my choice. And the choice is not just my choice. It's just my preferable choice. I'm choosing between two. I'd rather. And I've got one subject, and the whole sentence is about me and my choice. But if we look at example number 3, which says, I'd rather, here we have again a completely different one. Here we have two sentences, two parts of one sentence in this sentence. It's, I'd rather you did or didn't. So this is my strong advice to somebody. And it's not what I prefer to do. It's what I prefer you to do. And that's what I want you to do. And this is my strong advice. It's not something you have to follow. And I'm not controlling you in this activity. I'm not giving you orders what to do. I am articulating my opinion about your future activity. And if you take this advice, I'm very happy. So again, this has nothing to do with the past. This is about the future. We have would for the future. And if you look at the example, I'd rather you stayed at home. For example, if my daughter comes up to me saying, Mom, I'm going to go out tonight, and I know the forecast was very predictable. They are promising the storm. Do I want my daughter to go out? No. And it's nothing to do with her being late, her being mingling out with someone else. It's a kind of some circumstances which we can't control. And my advice is very strong based on these circumstances. And I can say to her, I'd rather stay at home tonight, which is about the future, quite strong. Take this advice because it is based on something. The other idea, when you use negative is even stronger. Negative is very strong. You come to my office and you're perfectly well aware that I don't smoke. I can, but not here. And suddenly you take out a cigarette and you say, okay, mind if I smoke? Fine question. And my answer could be, yes, I do. It's a kind of bit rude. But I can give you a very fine answer, which is advice which you shouldn't ignore. That's what it is. Advice you shouldn't ignore. And I say to you, I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather you didn't. That's a combination that you should take as it is. Advice not to do something, and I don't think you should ignore this advice. That's what it is about. Some lines from Falling in Love. That's a lovely film, actually. And if you like some lines, you can watch it. It's very romantic. It's very light. But sometimes, why do we need something which is not light in our life? So there is a conversation between two people. And at this moment, these two people are friends. They are in New Zealand on a lovely, lovely ocean coast, looking at the hill. And they are talking about their present and their future. But the language they're using is not necessarily future or present. Let's have a look. The guy is saying, since your one and the only camping trip was a wash, so was a waste, I figured we'd rough it with a picnic. I figured we'd rough it with a picnic. Looks like it's all about the past. I figured it's past. We would rough it. It's like something in the past. But no, it's actually about the future. It's explaining the present based on the future. So I know something about your past. This is my starting point. And in the past, you had this trip, which was a waste. And now, springboarding from there, I'm looking into the future. But I'm talking about this moment, this very moment we are here and now. And I'm talking about this moment using this past simple plus would do. I figured we'd rough it with a picnic. That's now. The picnic is in front of us and I'm explaining why we're having it, or why I thought that would be good. The answer is, all right, let's just cut the chase and get to the good stuff. Remember, present simple for a polite instruction. We have it here again. Then they got busy with reading letters from the war. It's very interesting, actually, to watch the whole episode, because the episode is dedicated to love letters, which were found in a wall, and these love letters belonged to an unknown person. But this person kind of became a symbol of this war. And what he did, what he wrote to the love of his life was very, very intriguing in a way. So they got to the last letter and the question was, wait, where's the next letter? That's it, the answer is. This can't be the last letter. Did he back from the war? Did he get back from the war? How did these letters get in the wall in the first place? Typical question. And then the answer is very interesting again. The answer is about the past. But look at the form. The formality here is very interesting because the form is about the present. They don't use their proper names. You would think twice before you use present perfect about past events. But you remember our rule. Talking about the past and finished event, they use present simple to emphasize the fact that this is very, very common for all people all the time. So they use present simple for past activities, just to show the idea that this is common, still, was, and it will be. And then we're coming up to our would-and investigation. We could pull up historical records, and the answer is here, I'd rather not know. Remember, preferring one thing to another, and that's the choice is very obvious. I don't want to hear about this anymore. So normally, if we want to say this preference, if we want to indicate our choice, what would I see? What would I go for? I would probably go, I don't want to know. But here we have an answer, I'd rather not know, which makes this choice stronger. I'd like to imagine a fairy tale ending. That's an interesting one. I'd like to imagine. Again, we have I would like as a kind of would, past, future, present. I would like, it's another choice. It's another preference. It's another activity I'm doing now. And again, based on something which we had in the past. Another episode was taken from Good Witch. And there's a conversation between a father and a son. I don't think they have good relations, not because both of them were behaving differently or they don't love each other. Nothing of this kind. They just have this generation gap between two people and they're trying to solve it. Not necessarily always successful, but they're trying very hard. And the conversation is pretty simple, and at the same time, it gives us an insight what they have. I'm just listening to music. I didn't do anything wrong. No, I did. I've been trying to control you. Do you remember we've dealt with tense saying that here I'm saying that I'm going to change my attitude, and to show to the receiver that I'm going to change my attitude, I'm using this tense. I've been trying to control you. I don't like it anymore. The right change is coming. and I'm going to change my attitude. I'm not going to control you anymore. That's why we have here this tense I've been trying. So I'm going to stop doing this because I